2020. And the story has been followed globally through an Access All Areas documentary called Welcome to Wrexham. In just a moment, as John was saying, we'll be speaking to that unlikely star of that show, Welsh broadcaster Maxine Hughes. But first, let's take a look at her teaching the pair a little about the country's culture.
How do you say terrible in Welsh?
Ofnadwy.
Ofnadwy.
How do you say idiot in Welsh?
Twmfat.
Twmfat.
Twmfat. I'm going to try one of these.
Twmfat.
And how do you say both terrible, let's say, what would terrible and idiot sound like in a sentence together?
OK, a sentence. Pam na allech chi gael midlife crisis arferol a phrynu Porsche? Pam roedd rhaid I chi brynu ein clwb pêl-droed gwych ni? Dwi wedi cwrdd â hockey puck sy'n gwybod mwy am bêl-droed na'ch dau twmfat.
You having a midlife crisis?
Do you play hockey?
Oh, I love it. Maxine joins us now from Washington. That looked a lot of fun, Maxine.
It was a lot of fun. Certainly more fun than running around the fields with you in my former days, John.
Yeah, because I should explain. I used to work as a reporter. Maxine used to be one of our producers and editors for the BBC here in the UK. So I guess the question people could ask is, why is she now in Washington? And why has she got these famous friends that she's making a TV show with? How did all this happen?
Well, I was in Washington for my day job, which is being a journalist, and there was a casting call that went out looking for a Welsh speaker in Hollywood. There's not too many of those. We all thought it was a joke. A friend of mine who is also a Welsh speaker here asked me to call, and he's like, go on, call them, see if it's real. So I called them up, and it was, and they asked me to try out for the position. So I did a reading, and then I got a call back, and the rest is kind of history. Next thing I was in Hollywood with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
As you are.
As you do. Standard, run-of-the-mill stuff, isn't it?
And Maxine, what was that moment? I know you're from North Wales, and, you know, Wrexham actually genuinely is a club that's really close to your heart. What's the weekend been like for you?
It was a bag of nerves to begin with. You know, obviously being here is quite difficult because there's a time difference, and you know, I was getting text messages and updates from everybody telling me kind of what the atmosphere was like as it was building up. And then, you know, obviously we had to watch it here on a VPN, so we were all kind of huddled around watching it. The kids had their Wrexham shirts, and I had my Wrexham shirt on. The first goal, we thought, oh no, please. And then, you know, it just got better and better. And, you know, obviously celebrations here on Saturday night. I think celebrations everywhere from Wrexham to Hollywood, and of course Washington in between.
We're just looking at pictures of the pitch invasion after victory on Saturday afternoon. The fans completely overwhelmed. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney in the crowd in the stand, completely overwhelmed. I mean, this has been such an extraordinary story to watch. For you to be part of it, albeit in America, must have been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky because I have been over in Wrexham as well. I was actually there for the first game that Rob and Ryan went to. It was a draw then, so it wasn't quite as exciting. But you know, it's been an amazing story I think for everybody who comes from Wrexham and from North Wales. And you know, this really is a story of the community. It's not just about two Hollywood stars. It's not just about a football team. It's about a community that have stuck through this team through thick and thin, and you know, and brought them back up. And it really shows. You know, it doesn't matter how low you fall. You know, if you work together, if you fight hard like the people from Wrexham, you know, you can get there.
Yeah.
And Maxine, I've really enjoyed watching you work with them. You've done some pretty unusual things, but I think one of my favourite things that I've ever seen you in is the video about how to pronounce Rob McElhenney's name, because it's something I know everybody has struggled with. Watch this, everyone.
It's McElhenney. While ways to massacre and mispronounce it, there are many.
McElhenney.
It's McElhenney.
McElhenney.
McElhenney. If there was doubt, now there won't be any. It's McElhenney. First it's Mackle like a tackle when we take him to the ground.
Then Henry like the penny that he's in for with the pound.
It's M-C-E-L-H-E.
You can sing as well.
Yeah, they've had me doing all sorts.
Who'd have thought it, Maxine, when we were bombing around the back lanes of Worcestershire during floods or something, that you'd end up with these famous... I'm amazed you've got time to talk to us, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, the food's a lot better in Hollywood too, John.
Yeah. What, better than service station sandwiches? I can't believe that. I can't believe... Yeah, I mean, does it genuinely... Has this changed things for you? I mean, because your face has been all overseen by hundreds of millions of people, this TV show being streamed. Is this a whole new career for you beyond journalism?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's changed things for me in terms of, as a Welsh person, I think. You know, I live in the US, I'm bringing my children up here and I bring them up to speak Welsh. And, you know, when we arrived here several years ago, people really didn't know where Wales was. They certainly didn't know what Welsh was. And now I really do notice a difference. You know, people say, oh, you know, Wales, like in Wrexham. And, you know, they've heard the Welsh language on, you know, on primetime TV. So I think that's been a big change for me. In terms of the day job, I'm still doing that. But obviously I get to do a few fun things in between too.
And Maxine, you know, we mentioned, haven't we, how important this has been for the community. Just talk to us a little bit about what a difference it's made to the people there, to the families. I know your dad is originally from Wrexham, and from the stories that you have personally heard.
I mean, look, Wrexham has always been a place that suffered quite a lot of hardship. You know, it was when I was growing up, you know, we looked at Wrexham as somewhere that was struggling. It still has areas that, you know, are struggling. There's some very high child poverty rates in Wrexham. And I think, you know, especially with COVID as well, local businesses were really kind of on their knees. And, you know, when Rob and Ryan came in, they bought the club. I think it just gave everybody not just a boost of confidence, but obviously an inject in the economy there too. And, you know, you've just seen the community and the local businesses just grow over the last few years. It's just gone from strength to strength. And, you know, I think there's a buzz, there's a feeling of energy now in that town that was kind of always there, but, you know, it was being carried really, really strongly by the football team and by the supporters. And now, you know, everywhere you go, you kind of feel like you're part of the story. And to see a place like that with such a community, with such a big heart, it's great. It's a story that appeals to everybody, whether you're American, whether you're Welsh, English, Scottish, whatever, you know, it's something that everybody can fall in love with.
Yeah.
And Maxine, where do you think this ends now? Because they said they want to go to the Premier League, right? And I guess that's what the fans will be dreaming of after this promotion. When you worked with them, was it clear that their hearts were absolutely in this? Obviously, we've seen the fun stuff, but there is the sporting side to it. Did you get the feeling their hearts were absolutely in this? And where do you think ultimately they want to take the club?
Yeah, I do think they're definitely in it for the long run. I think what was very obvious from the beginning was that they weren't just, you know, coming in to make a docuseries. They were genuinely wanting to bring this team up and to help this community. I think, you know, both guys are from pretty ordinary backgrounds. Rob, particularly, you grew up in Pennsylvania, and he looks out at Wrexham and sees some of those places around there as places that look quite similar to where he grew up. And you know, there's a link between Wales and Pennsylvania. A lot of people from Wales went over to Pennsylvania to mine, and when he grew up, he saw Welsh town names around him. So I think, you know, very quickly they fell in love with the town, they fell in love with the people, it resonated with them. And I think they didn't expect definitely to be kind of the stars of Wales as they have become now. But, you know, they put their effort in with the Welsh language, as you've seen in some of the shows and the promos that we've done. And I think, you know, once they realised how much this really meant to the people of Wrexham and to Wales, but then to them too, I think they really kind of thought, yeah, you know, we're in this for the long run. And, you know, they said they would go up, and they've done that. So, you know, I think the sky's the limit now. And, you know, if they say they're going to do it, you know, I believe them. They've already shown us that they do what they say they're going to do.
Maxine, I think we believe them too. It is so lovely to talk to you this morning. Thank you so much for staying up into the middle of the night for us, because I think it's, what, 2:45 there at the moment.